Hello and welcome, I'm Misstical, this is Misstical Gaming. We're back in Watch Your Realms, and I pulled this little beauty yesterday during my shard summon, so that was a bonus. Although, must make a quick apology, I got a little overexcited and I pulled another one, so I'd done his Awakening as well, which was a bit stupid of me, but so there you go, sorry about that. So we have got one Awakening on him, which does sort of skew what the results we're going to get from him when we sort of play test him, but other than that, we've left him sort of naked really, so we haven't got any of the skills done. We've done him 6-star, we've promoted him all the way up, which is where you would get him, but the skills we've left empty, and that way we can sort of have a play around with him and see where we want those skills to go afterwards. And then we'll chuck some dust into him and we'll see if we want more than dust or that sort of thing. Right, so let's get into him. What is he? What does he do? That sort of thing. So he is a defender by trade, and he does magic damage, which is quite nice to see. So if you've got mobs that are attacking you that are susceptible to magic damage, bear that in mind. If they're not susceptible and you're expecting them to do damage, also remember that he might not be the person for you that you want to use there. Now, if we get into him, his talents. Now, his talents take a little bit to get through. So first point on his talent is all damage scales off defense, which is good for a defender. I do quite like this, although I don't have a lot of gear that's defense and crit rated, so I might start looking out for that. It might be a future video where we sort of play test him and see if we can max out some damage on him, that sort of thing. But today we won't be doing that. I do not have the gear for it in this account. So each basic attack has a 15% chance of triggering a roll, dealing 140% AoE damage to at most 3 enemies in range. Now, not really AoE, I don't really know, sort of. You're going to be using him as a tank. He's probably blocking 2 or 3 people anyway, so they're the ones he's going to hit. Seems a bit, I don't know. I don't really think that's fully AoE, if I'm honest. It does knock them into the air, which is like a mini stun sort of thing, because they won't be able to do anything while they go up in the air, and that animation takes away, so bear that in mind. Additionally, when HP is below 50%, restores 5% of his max HP for every 4 instances of damage taken. So, because he's defensive based, you're going to have a lot of defense on him, so when he's hit, hopefully he won't be taking that much damage, but you will be restoring 5% of his max HP. So bear in mind, you do want some HP on him as well, just to when that happens, you're going to restore hopefully a lot more than the damage you take. Now, skills. Basic attack, magic damage, deals 100% magic damage to 1 enemy in range, and noticed he has got that range of the 2 tiles in front of him as well, so bear that in mind. Now, the other thing is the rest of them are just 5% damage to each of those, so we'll take that as it is. So, ultimate. Now it's 1200 and he starts with 600 and it lasts for 15 seconds. That's the first part. And then the second part here is he grants defensive increase. So defensive increase of 20% up to 3 adjacent allies. Now you can see from the grid up there, the adjacent allies are just literally around him in that square. So in those 8 squares around him, they're going to be the adjacent allies. 3 of those will get increased defense, which could be quite handy, I think, particularly if you've got like a fighter behind him. Then they're going to get a little buffer defense as well, particularly if you're trying to tank up more than, say, 4 or 5 enemies. They might have to tank one as well. So I think quite a nice little touch on the ultimate there. Also, he's going to increase his defense and his damage scales off defense as well. He also channels to deal 140% AoE damage every 2 seconds to up to 5 enemies. So there you can see he's down in his little ball there and he's just channeling away, doing that little electric shock effect. So that's it there. Additionally, if directly hit by enemies, the hero will trigger a counter attack to deal 300% damage 1 time. So bear that in mind as well. He's got a little counter attack built into him. Now his skills there, or level up of the skills, effect duration of 5 seconds, so that will take it up to a 20-second mark. The AoE damage will go up to 180. The defense increase will go from 20% to 30%. That's quite nice, and the skill cost reduction of 200, again another good one, brings it down to the 1k mark, which seems much more accessible. Then he's got a pair of passives. So the first passive, when the ultimate is triggered, the hero pulls 1 unblocked target in adjacent tiles towards himself Defense increased by 10%, so again getting that more defense. Again, that's on top of, as far as I'm aware, the defense buff that he's going to do to himself as well, and block by 1 until the ultimate ends. So if you've got him fully skilled up, that's going to be 20 seconds. If not, may well only be the 15. Additionally, ranged enemies will prioritize targeting the hero during this time. And then as you skill this up, this passive up, you can get 111 and then a 2%, giving you a max of a 5% defense increase, which is nice as he scales with defense, but not overly brilliant. If I didn't get anything in there, much the same as a basic attack, I don't think I'd be overly fussed. The ultimate very much where I'd want all of my dust to land at the moment. Right, his second passive. Each ultimate cast increases defense by 10% permanently. This is nice. Stacking up to 2 times. That's less nice. Right, this is the other place by the looks of it I'd like my dust to go. So max stacks, we can get another 2 max stacks out of that, so that'd be a 40% increase to his defense, and then the defense increase would be 15%, and then the max stacks would be 4. So what's that, 30? That's a 60%. Oh, block +1 upon, and he would get a block +1. I'm not overly fussed about the block. I don't think. Maybe 3, 4. No, on max stacks, it's going to take a while to get there, isn't it? Yeah. No, I wouldn't be worried about it. I was thinking further ahead on the game on AMR stages 21ish, I think. So yeah, not an issue. Right, so there we go. That's his skills. So I would want everything to land in either the ultimate or his second passive. I think is roughly where I'd want it to land for me. Right, gear wise, I've gone for Immortal Warrior. So 25% HP, 10% defense. Remember now, if you're on the Forerunner or when we get the update, there's when that's going to be. There's a new set now which I think does 30% HP, does it, and 15% defense. So bear in mind that could be a possibility as well. And then on the right hand side, I have gone for my Tempered Will. So it's a 3-piece set. Damage reduction is 15% for every enemy blocked. Increases defense by 5%, stacking up to 4 times, so stack up 20%. It's not good. It sounds fancier than it is, but I just sort of wanted the set to have a home somewhere. So as you can see, the rolls aren't particularly good. There's no HP percent in that one. There's HP percent in that one, and attack speed. The attack speed, you might want to bear in mind, he does attack very slow. His attacking was at like 3 seconds, so do bear that in mind. You may wish to put on a little attack speed on him. And then we've got defense there. It's got flat defense on there, and a bit of rage regen. Try and get back round to that ultimate, which I think is where everything is going to be. So that's how I've just chucked some gear on him. Not the best gear available, but I just wanted to chuck some defensive gear on him to see roughly how he goes and where we'd use him. Artifact wise, right, this is a little disappointing. So the artifact I've gone with is I've gone for Goddess Grace, and it increases defense by 15%, gains an extra 5% defense for every 10 seconds on the battlefield, stacks up to 3 times, another 15%, so it increases defense by 30%. The other one I think you could go for, obviously, is the Bastion Ring. When deployed, increases block by 1 for every block unit, increases physical damage reduction and magical damage reduction by 9%, stacking up to 4 times. So I mean, that's definitely a viable one there. But I've gone with this. Now, what I'm saying is a shame is the fact that, again, the updates we're missing, we've got Salazar's exclusive artifact in the shop, whereas if you're on the Forerunner account, you've got this one instead. So when deployed, increases block by 1, that's fantastic, and increases counter-attack damage. So remember, he's got this counter-attack on his ultimate there, so 300% will take that to a 400% hit during the ultimate. After triggering a counter-attack, increases defense by 3%, and that can stack up to 5 times. So I do quite like his exclusive. Again, we are waiting on any updates, aren't we? So not fantastic, if I'm honest. So that's a quick look over him. Now, So I think he's a good solid defender, and if you got him early, then absolutely fantastic. He's really going to help you through the campaign, and I think he's going to help quite a bit during Void Rift as well. I think he's going to be quite good there. Those times when you've got the mobs coming in, he'll be able to help with a little bit of DPS. Now, DPS may not be much. I don't think it's going to be particularly high, but it is a bit of help. So when you've got that going on, you might want to think, well, actually, I am getting a bit more there, which means your DPS gear doesn't have to be so great. So that is a bonus for him there. Where would I use him? Promotional rates. Yeah, if you need someone there, you've probably got them all done already. No great shakes. Resources raid. Do you really use a tank? Probably not. If you need one, it'd be fine. Let's do the easy ones to start with. So faction trials. I haven't used a tank in his faction. Didn't have one, didn't use one. I think if you've got him, then you could use him quite happily with no great issues there. Guild Boss 1, no. Guild Boss 2, sort of. Let's jump in quickly. So a quick look at the boss here then. So Samurai smashes the ground, dealing AoE damage to the target and the surrounding heroes in range, then immediately deals single target damage to the hero with the highest HP. That's highest HP, not the highest defense. So if you were going to use him, because he does put up quite a nice extra defense for those other couple of, maybe the fighters you've got around them, you can buff them up with this. And he's got quite a range, so you can sit him a little way back. So, and I suppose you could target who's pretty much getting that extra defense, couldn't you? And the ones around him. Now that would be quite nice, but you'd have to make sure that you buff his defense, his HP up, make sure that he has got the highest HP, and then that buff that he's going to place on people, that extra defense, that might come in handy for you if you find you're dying from smashes and that sort of thing. So possible. I think you'd have to make sure that you build him correctly for this if you're going to use him in there. Yeah, if you put him in here, then absolutely fantastic. I don't think you're going to have an issue on either account. I mean, if you do this before you've cleared it and you've got Paragonance on, I think he will help straight away. If you're doing it afterwards, then I think he's going to help straight away as well. I think it's going to be a fantastic tank there for you. Yeah, absolute top drawer. I think here he's absolutely brilliant. Going on past this, I think he'd be fine as well. Let's not complete that. So stage 19, should we get the updates again? Stage 19, that's the ground units. Yeah, I think it'd be very viable there without too many issues. I think it'd be good. In fact, it'd be more than good. You've generally got another two or three units around you, so he would put defense on them. He's doing the AoE around there. Yeah, I think it'd be very viable. Stage 19, very viable as well. So all the way through AMR up to stage 19. Stage 20 is platform-based units, so he wouldn't be any good there. Stage 21, it'd be as good as anyone else. He wouldn't be bad, but he wouldn't be. What you're ideally looking for there is people who can block with a high block. So he's just got a normal block and you want it for a longer period of time than the 20 seconds that you'd get out of him. Now, whether you had his artifact on and got another plus block out of that, maybe, but you can use another artifact on other people. So yeah, maybe I'm not. I don't know. Yeah, I don't think 21 is going to be his point, but definitely up to and including 19, going to be absolutely fantastic. Gear 8, Gear 8, 3, no. Gear 8, 2, usable just like any other tank there. It'd be fine. That'll be about it. I mean, he's the vendor and you use other defenders there. His cost isn't excessively high. It's 17, so bear that in mind when you're trying to roll your defenders through. Yeah, it'd be fine, but that's essentially it. Gear Raid 1. So stage 19, if I'm going to use him. So let's put him in, and then what we got? Let's give you a Lord skill, and then use you and you, wouldn't we? And then, oh, we want a Dolores in there, don't we? Yeah, I'd use team something like that to start with. That's how I would sort of build it. couple of Lord skills. And so if we're going to do so, I'd put him in the middle, put her going across. Remember, if you get the blossoms either side, then she's going to actually buff him. There we go. We've got block +1, we've got damage increase. So that's good for her. Get a little bit of healing for him. I think that's about it. I think we're pretty good to go. Trigger off some ultimates. There we are. All right, there he is, making a little ball, doing his little lightning, and absolutely fantastic. And rolling into the boss as well. He's got that, was it 15% chance? I think it was, wasn't it, to roll onto the boss? So there he is, doing wonders. Trigger off some ultimates. There we go. Yeah. I mean, let's be honest here. He's not the one clearing all this and doing all the damage. That's been done by the girls. Quite literally, they're absolutely doing it there, aren't they? So, oh, the ultimates are due again. Let's just trigger all of those off. Yeah, I'm just curious now to see how far he can actually go through this more than anything else. That's sort of essentially the sort of, I think, role I would put him in or run with him. And now as we move on to the second half of the fight, and we start to get the larger mobs coming down, trigger off the ultimates again, they're all due. And I suppose the other advantage is when the boss comes down, if he lasts that long, there we go, we're getting into the boss. The wolf seems to be doing all right. Better than expected, to be honest. So, is he usable or viable in Gear 1? I'd say, yeah, he is. Yeah. Would I use him over a DPS? Yeah, probably. I don't know. No, I wouldn't use him over a DPS, but if I was missing that one slot, would I put him in there? So we're just down to the boss now, and he's going to tank up the boss quite happily. And then we could slowly kill the boss down. Yeah, I think. Yeah, and the only healing he's got is from Dolores, so I don't think he needs much looking after. He needs less looking after than, say, an Abomination. I know some people have put an Abomination in there, so I don't think he's as gear intensive as Abomination, but yeah, you could quite happily use him in there, I think, without any great issues if you wanted to. So yeah, definite position for him. Now I should imagine, yeah, he hasn't done the most damage. There we go, there's a damage breakdown, but he's done 10 million. I think that's not shabby, and he's not built for, he hasn't done crit rate and crit damage on him. So if you went that route, I think you could probably bump that up, I would imagine, to the sort of 15-ish mark. I don't think, yeah, our pod was off, so all good. Now the other place I think I'm going to use him in, I'll try and do a video next week. Now I haven't pushed on this, and this is my fault. I think he's usable here. Just chuck him in here. Right, so there's our normal sort of team for down at the bottom. But I think here he's going to do remarkably well. Now you need a defender up there, and the boss is only susceptible to magic damage. So I think he's going to work really well there. Yeah. He's not doing the bulk of the damage there, is he? But he's not hampering it. He's not doing that physical part of the damage to actually heal the boss back up. So I think he's got a nice little niche just sat up there. And then I haven't got anyone else to put down here with any real gear on. And looking at that, his damage isn't fantastic, but it's not bad. I mean, he was keeping up with Valk, sort of. There's 100k in it, but I mean, they didn't do that much damage anyway. So I mean, yeah. Good spot for him, I think. Yeah, good, solid. I don't think you should be disappointed if you get him. Would I use him over big damage? Probably not. I like Baron. I like Brokner. That freeze or that unyielding state, I think, is absolute gold when you're coming to the big damage hits. So I don't think he'll fit in with those spots, but yeah, I think he has got a role in the game. I don't think you should be upset if you pulled one. If you have, congratulations. Oh, 3 stamina, brilliant for the day. So that's me done. Thank you very much for your time. Let me know, did you pull him? Are you happy with it? Do you wish that we also had the exclusive artifact for him as well? Who knows when updates are coming, but that should be in it. Yeah, good champion. Right, anyway, that's me done, and we'll start doing some Gear Dungeon 2 stuff shortly next week, I would imagine. Right, thank you very much for your time. I'll see you in a video again soon. Cheers, bye.